Each morning, across America's heartland, thousands of acres wake to the rising sun. But here, in the rich, fertile soils of the Midwest, particularly Indiana, something remarkable grows. A sea of golden blooms rises with the light, faces turned skyward. This is no ordinary crop. These are high oleic sunflowers, cultivated not just for beauty, but for purpose. Their seeds hold a secret, one that, when gently pressed, becomes the golden oil that fuels one of the cleanest, healthiest kitchen staples in America. This is the world of Healthy Hoosier Sunflower Oil, a brand dedicated to purity, sustainability, and deep local roots. But before it ends up in a glass bottle in someone's pantry, that oil begins with a seed, a field, and a quiet revolution in sustainable agriculture. So how does a flower become one of the most beloved oils in the market? What does it take to grow, harvest, and bottle nature's golden gift? Today, we take you behind the scenes, through the sun-drenched fields and into the machinery, science, and passion that power the entire process. From seed genetics to soil preparation, from combine harvesters to cold presses, this is the journey of the sunflower. This is how the sunflowers grown for Healthy Hoosier Oil are harvested. In the spring, when the snow has melted and the earth has warmed, Healthy Hoosier growers begin by testing the soil composition. pH, nitrogen levels, organic content, all must be balanced to create the perfect bed for sunflower roots. Once prepared, the land is tilled lightly to preserve moisture. Unlike some commercial operations, Healthy Hoosier emphasizes conservation tillage, keeping the soil structure intact and preventing erosion. Next comes the planting, done with remarkable precision. Modern planters use real-time satellite guidance systems, ensuring each seed is placed at a consistent depth and spacing, typically about 6 inches apart in rows spaced 30 inches. Why? Because sunflowers need air, sunlight, and room to stretch. Water is often applied through drip irrigation to reduce waste, and cover crops are sometimes used to keep the soil rich. In just 7 to 10 days, the first green shoots will pierce the soil, and the countdown to harvest begins. As the weeks pass, the fields transform. What was once bare earth becomes a dense green canopy. Soon, buds form, tiny at first, then open into wide, golden faces that track the arc of the sun each day. But behind this natural beauty is careful management. Healthy Hoosier growers follow strict integrated crop management practices. Every field is monitored regularly for weeds, pests, and moisture levels. Instead of broad-spectrum chemical sprays, they use targeted biological controls, like beneficial insects that eat aphids, or crop rotation strategies that naturally suppress soil-borne diseases. Moisture is monitored using soil probes and remote sensors. In drier seasons, drip irrigation ensures roots get exactly what they need. No more, no less. Fertilization, too, is precise. Nitrogen and potassium are added at key growth stages, always based on lab-tested soil samples. And while sunflowers are hardy, even resilient plants need protection from wind and sudden storms. That's why field layout and spacing are not just for light, but for airflow and durability. Every decision, from the pH of the soil to the angle of the row, is made with one goal: to help each seed head grow strong, heavy, and oil-rich. By midsummer, the fields are in full bloom, buzzing with bees, alive with color, and preparing quietly for their final act. After nearly 100 days in the ground, the sunflower's transformation is nearly complete. The once proud heads begin to bow under their own weight. The yellow petals dry and drop. The backside of the flower, the bracts, turn from green to brown. These are nature's signs. The crop is ready for harvest. But Healthy Hoosier doesn't rely on visual cues alone. Each field is sampled and tested. The key metric: seed moisture content. For oil production, the ideal range is 8 to 10%. Too wet, and the oil is cloudy and unstable. Too dry, and the seeds can shatter during harvest. Timing the harvest is a delicate dance. The weather must be dry, the soil firm, and the equipment ready. Sometimes, to encourage uniform ripening, growers perform desiccation, a natural drying technique that involves stopping irrigation and trimming weeds that compete for sun and airflow. Modern technology supports every step. Drones scan fields to identify uneven ripening. AI-assisted field maps help decide which section to cut first. And yield forecasts guide logistics: how many trucks, how much storage, and when to press. This attention to timing and detail is what makes Healthy Hoosier stand out. Because perfect oil starts with a perfect harvest. It's early fall. The air is dry, the sun is low, the harvest begins. Combines specially outfitted with sunflower headers roll into the fields. These machines are marvels of agricultural engineering, designed to cut, thresh, and separate seeds with minimal waste. Unlike wheat or corn, sunflower heads are bulky and full of delicate seeds. If handled too aggressively, seeds can crack or be blown away. That's why the headers gently lift the flower heads, then slice just below the base, clean and fast. Inside the machine, a rotating drum strips the seeds from the head. They fall onto a vibrating screen, where stems and shells are separated by fans. The clean seeds are collected in an onboard tank. Once full, they're unloaded into grain carts, which shuttle them to waiting trucks parked along the field's edge. Each combine can harvest up to 150 acres a day. But for Healthy Hoosier, it's not about speed. It's about care. Moisture sensors inside the combines constantly monitor seed quality. On-the-go adjustments can change drum speed, fan intensity, or blade angle, ensuring the best possible result from each pass. By sunset, the once golden fields have been cleared, but the journey of these seeds is just beginning. From the field to the facility, timing is everything. Once harvested, the sunflower seeds must be transported quickly and carefully to prevent damage and preserve freshness. Trucks are lined with moisture-proof tarps, and every load is weighed and tagged before entering the Healthy Hoosier intake system. At the processing plant, the seeds undergo a multi-step cleaning process. First, they pass through vibrating screens to remove large debris, stalks, stones, and any leftover shells. Then, high-powered air jets blow out dust and light chaff. But that's just the beginning. Next comes magnetic separation to catch any tiny metal fragments that may have entered during harvest. Finally, an optical sorter scans thousands of seeds per second, removing any that are discolored, damaged, or underdeveloped. Only the cleanest, most uniform seeds are selected for pressing. These seeds are then gently dried one last time, bringing their moisture content down to an optimal 6 to 7%. This step ensures maximum oil yield and long-term stability. Inside each machine, seeds are funneled into a rotating screw press. As the screw turns, it slowly crushes the seeds, releasing a rich, golden oil that flows through fine mesh filters. The remaining solid, known as sunflower cake, is not discarded. It's a valuable byproduct used for animal feed or further processed into meal. The freshly pressed oil is unrefined, full-bodied, and packed with nutrients. But before it's ready for your kitchen, it must be filtered and bottled. Once cold-pressed, the oil undergoes gravity-based settling. For up to 48 hours, it sits undisturbed in sealed tanks, allowing tiny seed particles to naturally settle to the bottom. Then, it's time for the final filtration. Healthy Hoosier uses a multi-stage microfiltration system, capturing the finest sediments while preserving the oil's vibrant aroma and color. There's no bleaching, no deodorizing, no additives, just sunflower oil in its most honest form. After filtration, the oil is transferred into a climate-controlled bottling room. Here, every step is automated and monitored, from filling to capping to labeling. Healthy Hoosier uses dark glass bottles to protect the oil from UV light, which can degrade flavor and nutrition over time. Each bottle is flushed with inert gas before sealing, extending its shelf life naturally, without preservatives. Every batch is tested for free fatty acid levels, peroxide value, flavor profile, moisture content. If it doesn't meet the company's gold standard quality, it's rejected. Once approved, bottles are boxed and shipped to retail stores, co-ops, and kitchens across the country. From soil to seed, press to package, every bottle of Healthy Hoosier sunflower oil carries the story of careful stewardship, local pride, and sustainable practice. It's not just oil, it's a legacy in a bottle. If this story moved you, if you believe in food made with care and farming done right, then stay with us. We've got more stories from the fields, the factories, and the people behind real food. Subscribe to our channel for more behind-the-scenes journeys, from farm to table, seed to shelf. Like the video if you learned something new. A bottle of olive oil. Familiar, simple, everyday. But behind that smooth, golden pour is a journey most of us never think about. Today we're going behind the scenes to show you how it's really made, from the tree to your table. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe to Top Discovery 4K for more amazing stories like this one. Now, let's explore how olive oil comes to life. It all begins in the groves, wide open landscapes filled with rows of olive trees, their silvery green leaves shimmering in the sun. Some of these trees are new, planted just a few years ago. Others, they've been around since before the founding of the United States. Their trunks are twisted, their bark weathered, but they still produce fruit, season after season, just as they have for centuries. The climate is hot, dry, and challenging, but that's exactly what olive trees like. No irrigation, no pampering, just sunlight, rocky soil, and time. Olives grow slowly through the summer, ripening from firm green to deep purple and black. By fall, it's time to harvest, and timing matters. Harvest too early, and the oil will be bold and peppery. Too late, and the flavors flatten, and quality drops. The best producers aim for just the right balance. High in antioxidants, full of fresh aroma, and low in acidity. Some farms use modern tools, long mechanical arms that gently shake the trees, dropping fruit onto nets. Others stick with tradition, hand-picking each olive to avoid bruising and ensure only the best make it in. No matter the method, the clock is ticking the moment the olive leaves the branch. Within hours, those olives need to reach the mill, because once picked, they begin to ferment. Coming up, what happens when those olives arrive at the mill? Once the olives arrive at the mill, the clock is still ticking. The first stop? Cleaning. They're unloaded into a hopper and carried along a conveyor belt, where a powerful air blower removes leaves, twigs, and any stray debris from the grove. Then they're given a gentle bath, rinsed in clean cold water to wash away dirt, dust, and tiny insects. It might seem like a simple step, but it's crucial. Even a few damaged or dirty olives can throw off the flavor of an entire batch. Next comes sorting. Some facilities use high-speed optical scanners to detect color and shape, rejecting underripe or overripe fruit. Others rely on trained workers to hand-inspect the flow. The goal is clear: only healthy, clean, ripe olives make it to the next stage. Everything, skin, flesh, and pit, will be used. Nothing is wasted. Because the next step? It's time to crush them all into a thick, aromatic paste. Now that the olives are clean and sorted, it's time to break them down. The entire fruit, skin, flesh, and pit, is sent into a crusher. Traditionally, giant stone wheels would slowly roll over the olives, grinding them into a thick paste. Some small mills still use this method for its gentle touch and rustic charm. But in modern production, stainless steel hammer mills are the standard. They work faster and more efficiently, breaking the olives into a smooth, uniform paste in seconds. Why crush everything? Because the oil lives inside tiny cells in the flesh. Crushing releases the oil along with water and solid bits, all mixed together in this rich, greenish-brown paste. But here's the key. Everything is kept cool. This is cold pressing, and the temperature is carefully controlled, usually below 27 degrees Celsius, about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, to preserve the delicate flavor compounds and antioxidants. With the paste ready, the next step is just as important, gently stirring it to bring the oil together. With the olive paste now ready, it's time for a slow, gentle process called malaxation. The paste is transferred into large stainless steel mixing tanks, where it's slowly stirred for 20 to 40 minutes. The goal? To let the tiny droplets of oil come together into larger ones, a process known as oil coalescence. It's like giving the oil time to find itself. The temperature is carefully maintained, still part of the cold press process, because heat might increase yield, but it also damages flavor and nutrients. For high-quality extra virgin olive oil, flavor always comes first. Some mills use a nitrogen atmosphere or vacuum-sealed mixers to keep oxygen out. That's because exposure to air can cause oxidation, which dulls the taste and shortens shelf life. The paste starts to look glossy, almost buttery. That sheen means it's ready. Up next is the step where things start to separate, literally. After malaxation, the olive paste moves to one of the most high-tech steps in the process: separation. Here's where the oil is finally pulled away from everything else. In the past, workers would press the paste between mats using heavy stone weights. But today, most producers use a horizontal decanter centrifuge, a long, fast-spinning drum that uses centrifugal force to separate materials by density. As the drum spins, 3 layers form: the solid olive pulp, called pomace, the vegetation water, and the golden layer we're after, extra virgin olive oil. But it doesn't stop there. The oil goes through a second vertical centrifuge, which removes even the tiniest traces of water and solids, leaving it clear, vibrant, and ready for the next phase. No chemicals, no added heat, just physics, precision, and patience. This is the first moment the oil stands on its own, pure, raw, and incredibly fragrant. At this point, the oil is fresh, raw, and rich in aroma. But it still holds a big decision for producers: to filter or not to filter. Some oils go straight from the centrifuge to the bottle, leaving tiny bits of olive flesh suspended in the liquid. This creates a cloudy appearance and bold, earthy flavor. It's often labeled as new oil or olio nuovo, and some people love its intensity, but it doesn't stay fresh for long. Filtered oil, on the other hand, is passed through cotton or cellulose filters to remove any remaining particles. The result? A clear, smooth oil with a longer shelf life and more consistent taste over time. There's no right or wrong choice. It depends on the producer's style and the market they serve. But whatever path they choose, one thing is critical. The oil needs to be protected from its 3 biggest enemies: light, air, and heat. That's where proper storage comes in. Once filtered or not, the olive oil is transferred into airtight stainless steel tanks, often under a layer of nitrogen gas. This keeps oxygen out and helps preserve flavor and freshness. The tanks are stored in cool, dark rooms, away from heat and light, because both can speed up oxidation and spoil the delicate balance of flavors. But before anything is bottled, the oil must pass a series of tests. In professional labs, technicians measure free acidity levels. For extra virgin status, it must be below 0.8%. They also check peroxide values, which show how much oxidation has occurred. Then comes the sensory test. Human tasters trained to detect subtle notes of grass, almond, artichoke, or fruit, as well as flaws like rancidity or mold. Only oil that passes both chemical and sensory evaluations earns the name extra virgin olive oil. And once approved, it's finally ready to meet the world, one bottle at a time. Bottling is where care meets presentation. The oil is gently pumped from the storage tanks into the bottling line. Each bottle, usually dark green or amber glass, is designed to block out light and extend shelf life. Before being filled, bottles are flushed with nitrogen to remove any lingering oxygen. Then the oil is poured in, measured to the milliliter, and sealed immediately. Labels are applied with pride, showing the harvest date, origin, variety, and extra virgin certification. Some producers even print lot numbers or QR codes that trace the oil back to a specific grove and harvest day. Finally, bottles are boxed, stacked on pallets, and shipped across the country, or across the world. The entire process, from grove to bottle, often takes less than 24 hours for premium oils. And once it hits your kitchen, the real magic begins, drizzle by drizzle. Up next, the final chapter, types of olive oil, sustainability, and closing thoughts. If you enjoyed this deep dive into how olive oil is made, from ancient groves to your kitchen shelf, give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who loves great food as much as you do. And don't forget to subscribe to Top Discovery 4K for more behind-the-scenes looks at how the world's most iconic foods and products come to life. We've got new videos every week, filmed in stunning 4K, so you can see the details, hear the stories, and experience the craft behind the things you use every day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.